Hello, here we are again. Jack and Jack show. Joe Sansom still out with illness this time. He'll be back soon. But Jack Stroudy were both at the King Power last night. Fulham are still seventh in the Premier League. We've won 3 in a row since the restart. And, well, it's the most wonderful time to be a Fulham fan, isn't it?
Yes, it's every time I seem to come on the Jack and Joe show or Jack and Jack show, whatever. I just keep seeming to say I can't believe it, but there's no other way I can describe it. It just seems to just get better and better. You know, we're still seventh in the league, and obviously we're going to go on to the game, but yet again, a completely different performance to what we saw from Southampton and Crystal Palace in terms of how we played, and I was so impressed.
I'd almost say that last night's performance was reminiscent of a few performances we saw last season from Fulham. There was a wonderful stat. I can't remember who it was from on Twitter, but it's like the last 5 games that Fulham have won 1-0 away from home, Mitrovic has got the winner, and we've won 1-0. That's Mitrovic's goal. So that was last night, Middlesbrough, Peterborough. I had them all. I had them already. Peterborough, Cardiff, and there's one more in there as well in the Championship last season. Hull City, who we play on Saturday. Incredible, remarkable stat. Let's get into the game. Another 3 points, Jack. And the first half performance, especially before we scored the goal, was absolutely brilliant. How did you see us in the opening 20 minutes?
That opening 20 minutes was just absolutely phenomenal, to be honest with you. I was watching the game on, I was just thinking it's just going to be one of them days where we score three or four, and you know it's relatively comfortable. And obviously we deserved the goal, but we had a few chances before that. Willian obviously had a couple, but the performance in the first 15-20 minutes, I'd argue that's the best start to a game we've had since the restart. Leicester just couldn't deal with the pressing or anything like that. And yeah, it was just a really, really positive start from Fulham, which was rewarded with a fantastic goal. The ball over from Willian is just absolutely incredible, and it's a great touch from Mitrovic. And you know, initially I thought Danny Ward should do better with that, but I watched it back, and you know, it's a really good finish from Alexander Mitrovic. Very composed considering the circumstances.
Yeah, that makes it 11 this season for Mitrovic. Great finish across the keeper, really. And am I right in saying that Kieran Dewsbury-Hall was meant to start last night? And he got into the warm-up.
Yeah, he was. I was so confused because I was in the concourse with you. We were looking at team news, and Dewsbury-Hall was there, and indeed it was Wilfred Ndidi that was on the bench. I'm pretty sure.
Really? Okay.
And then the teams come out, and I was like, well, where on earth is Dewsbury-Hall? And then I saw Wilfred Ndidi. I kind of just put 2 and 2 together. But then for Leicester again, it kind of got from bad to worse in terms of midfield because Samare came off very early on for Albrighton.
Yeah, and I was wondering then what would happen to their shape now they're going to lose a central defensive midfielder and they're bringing on someone like Mark Albrighton, who's obviously a wide player, but he is a sort of Bobby D. Cordova-Reid of Leicester. He could sort of play in multiple positions, but for Fulham, we absolutely controlled the game up until at least half time, and even after we scored, we saw a bit of a response from Leicester with Ayoze Perez basically missing an open goal. He should have scored. Harvey Barnes was dangerous with a couple of balls across. Vardy was always going to have chances last night as well, but Leno dealt with it very well. Tosin came into the team for Diop. That was the change in the team news for Fulham, which we were expecting unchanged, but you can't really complain that Diop, Tosin came in for Diop. What did you make of the defensive performance in the first half from Fulham?
Very, very resolute, very strong. I was very pleased. As I said, there was a couple of times where they broke through, and I thought, not just in the first half, but as a whole, I thought that Youri Tielemans was absolutely exceptional last night. I thought if Youri Tielemans wasn't on the pitch, I don't think they would have been anywhere near as potent going forward as they were. He really not controlled the midfield, but he done a lot of things in midfield and brought the play forward. And obviously, we'll get onto the second half of the chance he had. But you know, I thought, Fulham as a whole, defensively I thought Tosin in particular over the whole game was going very good. But in the first half, he stepped in when he needed to. Made the interceptions when necessary, and yeah. But I mean, bar that, there was the Jose Perez where he should have scored, but going into half time, we absolutely warranted that lead.
Yeah, we were good, and obviously, Leicester didn't have the likes of James Maddison. If they'd had Yori Tillemans with James Maddison, Harvey Barnes, Jamie Vardy, it might have been a different game. And I think we've got to thank our lucky stars that they were missing all those players, even Patson Daka and Johnny Evans and Ricardo Pereira, all not involved. And at times, Fulham had to ride their luck last night. And what was interesting is that we've had to experience that before when we go to Middlesbrough and we've gone to Cardiff. We've got these 1-0 wins. Even Peterborough, who hit the post through Johnson Clark-Harris when we were 1-0 up at their place. But this is a different type of pressure. It comes from Premier League opposition as opposed to Championship. And let's get on to the second half, because Fulham, I can't remember, apart from the Harry Wilson chance. Was that the only chance we had in the second half?
Yeah, we had. I'm pretty sure we had 2 shots on target in the whole game.
Brilliant.
And obviously it was the Mitrovic goal, and I'm pretty sure Tosin kind of hit one from
yeah, he did,
which didn't challenge the keeper at all. But yeah, that Harry Wilson chance was the only one we had in that second half. And I mean, if that would have gone in, I think the away end would have just completely just lost it, to be honest with you. And where I was convinced it was in. I was absolutely convinced it was in. But so unfortunate for him, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's the only chance we had in the second half.
I've got to say, I've been to Leicester once before when we lost 3-1 under Parker, and I think it was Brendan Rodgers' first game or home game in charge of Leicester or something. I didn't really fully appreciate it at the time. I think the King Power Stadium is a brilliant stadium to watch football. I thought it was great, not in terms of the atmosphere. I just thought the whole stadium just looked great. I thought it's a nice ground. It's like Derby, but you're just on the other side. If you're down on the left, you're in the Derby away, and if you're on the right, you're in the Leicester one. But I thought it was a very, very good ground, good concourse. But I think the Leicester fans, understandably, were getting very frustrated with their team. But I only realised when I watched the highlights back this morning and last night, Leicester had a ton of chances, like really, really good chances as well. The Barnes one over the top where he almost clipped it over Leno, another good save. The Perez one, good save. Tielemans hit the bar. There's a couple more as well. Like we really did hang on in there, didn't we, Jack?
Yeah, it was a real smash and grab, to be honest with you, from Fulham. And those are just as enjoyable as the games that you comfortably win. But that's just a credit. Bernd Leno has been absolutely sensational this season. And obviously we spoke after Southampton about, the free kick. Was it his fault? Was it not his fault? But we said he's earned enough credit in the bank. He's got even more credit in the bank now. He was absolutely fantastic. I remember my biggest concern with Fulham going into the World Cup was defensively. I didn't think we were particularly strong. Not because of personnel. I just think systematically that's just how we play. We're going to be a little bit more open. But I think in the last 3 games, yes, while we've rode our luck, we've only conceded 1 goal, and that was a free kick. Defensively we seem to be, while riding our luck, we seem to be a bit stronger than we have been previously. And the fact that we're able to bring in Tosin and still be defensively sound is such a positive, and it's so good that we have those options available to us.
And then even then, we brought on Diop at the end as well to head to a 5 with the back. The slight negative last night was Mitrovic picking up a yellow card. It was never a yellow. I can't believe he's given it. And there were quite a few cards last night. Mitrovic will be out of Chelsea. It's not the worst news in the world. Obviously, you want your best player up for the biggest game of the season. But also, he won't be playing against Hull because he'll be rested, surely. He won't be playing against Chelsea. So his foot can fully heal when we got up to St James's Park against his former team in Newcastle, Jack.
Yeah, I agree. Don't even bother thinking about sending him up to Hull. Get an ice pack on the foot, get his feet up, let him watch the telly, just chill out. Get him rested, get him ready for Newcastle. Imagine that Carlos Vinicius will come in for Hull and for that Chelsea game. I'm not Vinicius' biggest fan, but he did play quite well in that friendly against West Ham. So I mean, who knows? Marco Silva obviously likes him. He keeps playing him every now and then in terms of when we need a backup for Mitrovic. Yeah, so who knows? Who knows? Maybe Vinicius will surprise me and score a Premier League goal, but I don't know. We'll see. It's very frustrating. It did put a little bit of a dampener on last night, but it's what can you do?
We're also sitting 3 points above Chelsea, with Chelsea's next game being Manchester City tomorrow night. And there really is a possibility where we're going to just be sitting on 3 points ahead of them going into the game against them, which is mental, absolutely mental. And then I think, are Chelsea playing City in the FA Cup as well?
They got City back to back in they're playing them at Stamford Bridge in the league and then the Etihad in the cup.
They just played them in the Carabao as well. This is
there's just
it's just Chelsea v City all over.
Something about Manchester City getting clubs from West London in the cup. Just something about it.
Brentford 4th round, guaranteed, and they beat West Ham on Saturday night. Before we get on to Hull, I think there's going to be a weekly tradition here on the Jack and Jack or Jack and Joe show. I looked at the odds. Fulham are now 80-1 to be relegated from the Premier League on Sky Bet, which is ludicrous. When we came into the season, we were sitting maybe 3-1 or just below that.
I'm pretty sure we were second. We were second favourites to go down. I'm pretty sure.
With Cherries probably in Forest.
Yeah, but it was Bournemouth, and then I think because Forest made so many signings, Forest weren't second favourites to go down. They just we were. I'm pretty sure Fulham was second favourites to get relegated.
It's amazing. It's amazing. 28 points. I think we've equalled the tally what we got under Parker.
Yeah.
It was at the season in lockdown. That's a joke. That was one of the games we did win in that season, of course, Leicester away. We did it again. Again, hanging on 7 added minutes. Where do you get the time from? Well, I suppose. I think 7 was justified. I was expecting at least 6.
Yeah.
It was Darren Bond's first Premier League game he did last night. And overall, he did an okay job, the referee. We don't usually sit here and talk about refereeing performances, but there wasn't much in terms of VAR-ness in the game. I think they had a couple of handball shouts in added time against Ream, but they were very quickly dismissed. And also, we had a check for a penalty.
First half.
Yeah.
First half. It was a very quick one because it was. Well, I was sat stood obviously with a few of my mates, and one of them said they're claiming handball, and I looked over and there was must have been about 3 or 4 players surrounding the referee doing that, and they were checking it, but that very quickly got it wasn't a penalty. Yeah, I think the referee as a whole had a good game. I think if you're a Leicester fan, you're going to be frustrated because of time wasting and all that sort of stuff. But that's just part and parcel. If the boot was on the other foot and they were time wasting, maybe the ones applauding the referee and we'd be rocking and moaning. So it is just part and parcel of football, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's what happens. I'm sure we'll see it maybe on Saturday in the FA Cup, depending on what goes on there. We're all going on a European tour, was what we were singing at the Full Time Whistle. I mean, it's just good fun. Whether we believe it or not, I'm not sure. There's a long way to go. We're not even halfway through the season. But 12 more points and then we're safe, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe even less than that, to be fair, given the state of the bottom 3 at the moment. Massive game tonight between Southampton and Forest. But Jack, it's so healthy it's so refreshing to look at these fixtures and be like, actually, we don't need to worry about this. We don't need to worry about Leeds v West Ham tonight or Southampton versus Forest, because we've already got enough points to sort of be like, well, we can actually start looking at the teams around us, like your Chelseas and your Cities, and Chelsea v City, and we're on the same points as Liverpool. What is happening, Jack?
Yeah, it's just a ludicrous season, isn't it? It's just absolutely silly, to be honest with you. Obviously we're not guaranteed to be safe now, but my worries of that are very, very, very slim. In terms of the European suggestions, I'm kind of in the same boat as I was post Southampton. We need to get through this run of games, see where we go where we are after these run of games, and then from then I might start looking at Sky Scanner. Who knows? But there's a long way to go. Obviously we will need to recruit 1 or 2 in January, but why not enjoy it? As you said, we're level on points with Liverpool. We're 3 points clear of Chelsea. Obviously we're above Brentford. It's just absolutely mental. It's just bonkers.
It's incredible. I just can't believe it, honestly. And obviously we're playing Newcastle quite soon, who I didn't actually realise this till last night. They've only lost 1 game this season. That was to a last-minute goal from Fabio Carvalho.
Yeah.
We've got to go to St James's Park, but I'm not fearing Chelsea or Newcastle or Spurs, especially not Forest when we play them, and then Chelsea again at the Bridge. This is like bring them on, even without Mitrovic against Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree with the mentality that Marco's instilled in the players and the belief that the fans have got. Yeah, I back us to give absolutely everyone a game. That Chelsea game next week, how's their luck? Do you know what I mean? To Alexander Mitrovic out for it, but I still back us to absolutely give them problems. And yes, Mitrovic scored a goal last night, but he didn't score against Southampton. So we and it's not like the narrative from some people will be that we are very reliant on Alexander Mitrovic. He obviously is our top goal scorer, but we have players around the pitch that all like to score and all like to contribute. And I just think that we absolutely. I've never been confident playing Chelsea, never at all. But I really do think I'm sure you and Joe will go into Chelsea next week. But I really think we can get something at both at the Cottage and at the Bridge. Is absolutely just mental to think.
I think we do get something, honestly, from one of those games. They're sitting 10th at the table. They weren't great against Forest at all, really. And yeah, I was going to say one more thing before we move on. So right now, the 7th place Conference League jokes are going. The 3-horse races, ourselves, Brentford and Brighton for that 7th place position. And we go to Brighton in February. We go to Brentford at the beginning of March. I genuinely, I could see us being up there, maybe.
Yeah, I think my prediction. I think we'll finish top half, which is just bonkers. It's just bonkers. Even to say that is just mental. I think we'll finish top half, which is absolutely outrageous. And I was saying this last night on the coach back to one of my friends. The ceiling of this Fulham team and the ceiling we have with Marco Silva is as high as they want to make it. The Calms have not been afraid to spend money in the past. And I give Marco Silva whatever contract he wants. Tie him down. He's the most important person there at the club now, in my opinion. Get him down to a long-term deal and just give him the funds, because he could take Fulham to places. Honestly, it's just mental. He could. I don't even know. I'm so excited, as you can tell. I'm just so giddy with Fulham.
It's because, do you know what it is? It's like we've gone through such a journey with Fulham. Let's say since we got relegated in 13-14, everyone was very low. Kit Simons came in after McGarth. We were terrible and we couldn't, string a run of results. We almost got relegated, then almost got relegated again when Kit went, and then Slav came in and Slav kept us up, and then Slav got us to the playoffs. We missed out, and then he got us up. Then we went back down, back up, back down. I mean, it's just been an absolute roller coaster of about 9 years, really. And for the first time since maybe like 11, 12, we have some sort of like, I wouldn't say stability, because we're not there yet, but it's just something to be excited about in the top level. Like Dempsey, Dembele days, Zamora, Johnson. That season we beat QPR 6-0, we beat Newcastle 5-2, like those kind of days where we were still pretty inconsistent, but at least we were ticking along nicely, and we were never in any relegation problems, Jack. It's incredibly refreshing.
Yeah, I'm having such a great time with Fulham at the moment, and like I said, who knows how long it's going to last? So we might as well enjoy it. And this time in a month and a half, we might not be singing "We're all going on a European tour again" because we've dropped off and we're sat in 14th. But still, that's still completely fine. We're the gap we've got on the bottom three, and we've warranted ourselves a little bit of a leeway now if we do drop off. Not that I'm growing more and more confident that I don't think we will. Every week I'm thinking, this is the time. We've won a couple of games. We can't win them all. Like, come on, let's be a little bit realistic. And then we just pull out another performance and just play in a different way. And, are a lot more resolute and strong and grind out a result the way that I don't think I've seen us do in the Premier League, like a 1-0 like that in probably since last time we would have done that would have been Scott Parker when we beat Liverpool during COVID. That'd have been the last time we saw that, and it's just so refreshing to see.
It's not like we absolutely were hanging on for dear. I mean, we were, but we had qualities in the first half. Like, we could have scored more than one goal. Against Liverpool, it was the one chance of Lamine, and we actually, to be fair, what? Let's not get into it. What I would say is that if we were to get into Europe, touch wood, like obviously, like, it's a long way off. I'd say that our fan base at this moment in time have, like, I don't know, there's more people following Fulham away. There's more youngsters getting into it. There's just a core group of people that are really loyal and willing to go up, midweeks, like the Middlesbroughs and the Leicesters and stuff like that. We had it last season before. For the last couple of seasons, we've really seen this new, like, growth of Fulham fans. So I think if we did get Europe or get in the qualifiers or whatever happens, again, not guaranteed, not even close yet, we take good numbers, and I think we'd be respected for that. Let's move on back down to earth to the KCOM. Look, no disrespect to Hull, but we've played them quite a few times in the last few years. It's a long way to go, so fair play to anyone going up. I'm actually not going voluntarily for, like, the first time in, like, 5.5 years. I've just gone, I can't justify going to Hull. I'd much rather stay in London and attend a game in London this weekend. Let's just rotate. Get Solomon some minutes. What's your 11?
Well, I mean, before I get into an 11, I was actually having a bit of a think last night. Obviously, I don't think we're going to go down now. I'd like to hope we're not going to do. You know what I mean? We'd have to go some to go down now. But I don't think we will. So why not a bit of a cup run? You know what I mean? A Fulham cup run would be absolutely phenomenal. So, I mean, I would rotate, but I wouldn't be shocked if Marco maybe didn't rotate as much as we think he will, because we've really not got anything to lose by going for it in the cup. So I'll go Rodak in goal. I'll go Mbabu. I'll go Diop and Tosin. Kazawa in midfield. We'll go with. I haven't even thought about this. I'm kind of just doing it off the cuff here. We'll go with Chalobah and Kearney. Solomon, Harris, and Wilson, and then Vinicius up front.
So what? Harris plays in the 10, and then Kenny plays slightly. You know what? I don't think Josh Armand will play. I think he's looking for a January move. I think Chalobah's got a chance of playing. You said Solomon and Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after Wilson's little cameo, he deserves probably a start. He needs to get more minutes in his. You know what? I'd actually completely agree. I can't think of a better replacement. I mean, Dan James could play. Willian doesn't need to. Bobby D Cordova played enough minutes to sort of warrant a rest as well. Vinicius up front, getting ready for Chelsea as well. We've got a full week between Hull and we could play a full strength team, and no one really bat an eyelid. Really, I suppose they would, because they'd be like, "What are you doing?" But
Jean Paulinho just at the KCOM.
Jean Paulinho up against John Mikel Seri. I would have. I should have gone. Is what I would have. What I'd be feeling at that moment in time. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Really, Sonny Hilton was recalled today or sent back to Fulham from Carlisle. I think he's been hit with injuries this season, because Carlisle would be going really well in League Two, and I don't think he's featured. So he's back at Fulham. He might get some minutes. You never know. Might get the bench. Iban Boat might get on the bench. That'd be great. Friend of my brother's, which is kind of cool. Every time he plays, I sort of recognise that he's maybe one of the next ones to come through in the academy. What about score prediction against Hull?
I'll go with let's go 2-0. Let's go 2-0 Fulham.
Yeah, I think we'll win 2-1. I think we'll probably take a 2-0 lead, and they'll get a goal back, and they'll get all excited, and then we'll probably
giving it all that.
Yeah, more by. I do wonder who's going. Leave a comment below if you are going to the game.
I don't know anyone. Going, which is, and if you are, fair play, because there's no train strikes. I think it's 30 quid for the club coach. It's
6 a.m. leaving as well.
Yeah, I've done Hull enough times. I'm not interested enough in the nicest way possible.
Yeah, I think I said if it was like a new tick or a home game, obviously I'd be there. But I can't motivate myself to go to Hull and drink in the same spoons and do the same walk and have the chips and be like, "Oh, the chips are great."
Have the chips.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but look, fair play to everyone going. I think I've got to sort of prioritise work over this one this time round. But look, 4th round, if we get through and we're away to
Man City.
No, if we get away with Man City again, I just give up. But we're in a very fortunate position right now where we're going so well in the league that we can have a sort of weekend off and enjoy playing a team in the second division and hopefully getting 3 points. And Jack, is there anything else we want to talk about before we go?
There's nothing that I can think about really. Obviously, with all the fixtures coming thick and fast, it seems like I'm covering for Joe every kind of 2 or 3 days now. So there's other than a game, there's not really a lot to cover. There's been no transfer news. I mean, the only thing I can really think of, allegedly, Fulham are looking elsewhere because Decore and Cedric want too much money.
Yeah,
I saw a report on that, but how true that is, I don't know. There was a link with Chris Smalling as well the other day, but again, how credible any of that is you or me, I don't know. Someone, I don't know.
Kind of take all of Roma's back four, we are. Yeah, I mean, I think the Cedric Suarez one is one that's probably going to rumble on for a bit longer. We'll probably have to find Mbabu somewhere to go before we get him in. It's just going to go on and on, isn't it? I just wanted to ask you one question, and it's not Fulham related. Everton lost 4-1 last night. By the way, the fourth goal, if you haven't seen it, is probably
it's hilarious.
It's unbelievable. The booze, the goal, the chip, it was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. More good chips. Lampard, he's got to go, surely.
Yeah, he's got. I had a great time with the coach back yesterday, listening to the Everton space where all the fans were just absolutely having a meltdown. I was sat next to Dom, just watching that. We were both just absolutely crazy, saying, we should get Thomas Frank, we should get Pochettino, just absolutely ludicrous names that aren't going to join. But look, you'd imagine Frank Lampard goes now. It's just not worked out at all. They're just. But the intriguing thing is who on earth would go there, because the favourite at the moment is Sean Dyche to replace him. I don't see Sean Dyche going there. Why? It's such a poison chalice.
I could maybe see Sean Dyche going there to sort of keep them up and then just sort of be like, go again. But then again, it's not an appealing job.
No.
The fans are toxic. I know they get behind the manager, whatever happens, that's fine. But once it starts going downhill, it really is hard to come back from. I think they've got United in the Cup, and then they've got another game in the Premier League. I can't quite remember who they're playing.
They've got their next two. I was looking at this earlier. Their next two are Southampton at home and West Ham away. So a very big couple of weeks for Everton.
I do. Yes, they're playing. Yes, I remember now. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is going to be very. That could be, 2 games and you're off basically. And obviously West Ham, who of course lost their owner today. Rest in peace, David Gold. That's obviously really tough, and hopefully tonight they can get a good performance against Leeds. But West Ham Everton is going to be a crunch game if West Ham don't pick up points against Leeds, and then I can't remember who they're playing next. But we've rambled on as always. Found something else to talk about, but Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure. And half an hour of Jack and Jack content after Fulham have made it 3 wins in a row.
Cheers, mate. Thank you for having me on. Hopefully I'll be on soon to talk about yet another Fulham win and yet another 3 points closer to Latvia in July.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you are going to Hull, have a good one. Enjoy it. And we'll see you next time for another Jack and Joe show. I think Joe will be back next week if he's recovered from his illness to talk Chelsea. Jack, thanks so much for being here.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Take care, everyone, and come on, Fulham.